Welcome back, everyone. This video is a very personal video that I want to show you guys. I'm going back to the place where I camped out for almost a year, short by 2 months, from fall of 2017 till summer 2018. For those of you guys who do not know, I was homeless for almost a year during that time, and I'm about to show you guys where I camped out. Over here you got a bunch of geese in the river here. There's more way down there. I can't really see because this camera has no zoom, but you see them across the way there, dead center. So this is the walk that I made every day going in and out of town back when I lived out here. It's a nice walk, but it's a long walk when it's cold out. Like today, it is only 33 degrees out. That is 1 degree above freezing, but I didn't want to wait any longer to get this video out. It was delayed by rain the past couple days, so I couldn't film it sooner, and then you know, life gets in the way. It's cold, but that's not stopping me. We're out here, and here we are. Well, looks like they put a gate up here, so I guess we'll have to be going around the other way, but it's probably a good thing that they put it here, because if I do get back there to show you guys, there is a ton of trash. Hopefully a lot of it has been cleaned up, but I doubt that they got all of it with how much that there was. But I mean, it's a step in the right direction in keeping people out of here, because unlike myself, people are litter bugs and just leave their shit out here. I took all my crap out of here. Any trash that I wasn't able to burn, I brought out and threw it in the trash can at the park here where I came in, or there's a plaza right over here behind me where there's dumpsters. So there's places to put your trash. People are just lazy and ignorant, and well, that's how it is. And this is that very trash can that I always used in the park right here. So the whole time I was in and out, I used to dump my trash right here in this trash can. I don't know if it's the same exact trash can, but this is where I put my trash. So what wasn't burnable went in there. So respect the earth, guys. If you have to camp or live outside, if you're homeless, at least be respectful towards the land that you're staying on, regardless of your situation. There's no excuse. So here's a better look at those geese that I was showing you from the other side. A whole flock of them. And there's a helicopter airplane somewhere hiding up there in the clouds. So where I was standing earlier was right over there. Here's the rest of the flock down here. Hi guys. Why don't you guys fly south? It's pretty cold. How are you guys not cold? You guys should fly south. I want you guys to freeze to death. Although I'm sure you guys will be fine. Stay warm, guys. Fly south already. Don't delay it any longer. You don't want to freeze your arses off. You don't want those feathers to freeze off. I also just wanted to take this moment to thank all you guys who are watching my videos and liking them, comment down below on all of them, share them out with your friends and people you know you would enjoy my videos. So very much appreciated. Thank you guys so much for all the support so far, and if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button and don't forget to like the video. If you like adventures and outdoor stuff, historical nature walks, as well as, you know, just random adventures to amusement parks, museums, doing fun things. I even want to do some more like DIY building stuff and see if it works or not. Build a boat. Does it float? Does it sink? Stuff like that. So thank you guys for watching. It's really much appreciated. So straight across, right where my finger is, that is another spot that I was camping for a short time, where I was staying with people. It wasn't my own spot, so I don't call it my campsite, but the place that, well, you'll see shortly. Now we're crossing this bridge to go in the back way to come back on this side of, there's some more geese right down here, all the way over here. That one dipping for fish, looking for food or whatever it's finding down there to eat. And over here, well, there's one right there, a couple down there. I don't know if you guys can see, but this is, anyways, back to the main mission. So this is the back way where I went in, where I used to go in all the time. I know part of it I should be able to be fine, but then the area that I actually used to camp in, the other area might be fenced off now, since it was, well, you just saw it back there, so I don't know how much they actually fenced off, but this is leading down to a campsite that I used to stay at with people. It wasn't my own site, so I don't call it my campsite. It was a shared site that I shared with other people, and it didn't work out, so then I moved out of there. So you see all the trash here. There's a ton of trash right here. This is a really bad area. There's trash all over here in this area right here. Looks like there's a tent right there. Someone's camping right there, it looks like. Look at all this trash. There's another campsite up here. So the area that I used to camp at is actually back there. Another site right there. Some more trash right over here. Look at all this garbage right here. That's the way we're going to check to see if I can get in the back way to where I actually used to camp. But this is the way that I went to go to the campsite back here when I was staying back here with those folks. I want to see if it's still as bad as it was last I was out here, and one of those people was an absolute hoarder, so it was pretty bad. It looks like someone else is camping there now. So roll those clips. And here is that spot where I was first camping with other people. Didn't last long. In this picture you can see I had flooded a bit. You look at my tent there, it's water's about coming in, so yeah. Anyways, I stopped using this tent because the raccoons also got into it on the side. Right on the right side there was a hole from the raccoons, even though I kept the food outside. Nope, still found a way to get in, or a reason to get in. Alright, so you see another campsite is right there. That's a lot of trash. But I used to stay behind there. I see other people have moved in there. Wow, it's bad right here. Holy shit, this is a shithole. So I'm not gonna go right up to there. I'm not gonna walk up, and I don't want to get any surprises, so I'm not gonna go too close to the tents. But because I don't know whose campsites they are. If I know it was someone that I knew, it'd be different. But given I don't know, I know certain people who are camping, but where they are camping, I'm not sure. So without actually knowing, I'm just gonna play it safe and not approach anyone's campsite too closely, just because it's still a place that they're staying. I respect their boundaries, and back when I was camping out here, I had so much shit stolen from me that I'm not gonna be disrespectful or any of that, like what I experienced. So even if, you know, people are not the most responsible with their campsite, I still want to be as respectful as I possibly can. So judging that it's not a beaten down path anymore means probably not too many people come out here, which is good. I used to cross this all the time, right next to the highway. Oh look. Alright, so we can go in the back way. Okay, we're in the back way. So I'm glad that we were able to come in this way. Looks like the path is still here. Maybe people still use it. Maybe not as much. But hey, at least I was able to find a way back. I probably will not go all the way in to the campsite that I camped at last, but I'll just have to show it to you guys from across the river. That's the best that I can do. Also, it's an area that floods easily, so it may also be too wet. It usually is this time of year. At least when I was out there, it was. So given my experience out here, I know the areas that flood and the areas that don't, because I had to deal with that when I was out here. So right here was actually one of my campsites when I first moved away from across over there. Actually over right there. I moved right here. This area that's cleared out right here, I cleared that when I was here. So, but then I realized I was too close to the highway right there. So I had to move back, which we'll see next. But first, roll the pictures of this spot. And here is that spot. Look how nice I had it. Perfectly nice and cleaned up. You see my bike there, my chair, a little campfire there. These are great pictures too. But see, I had such a amazing setup until I had to move again. So now this is the first place that I camped out here. I used to camp out here with someone I know named Pete. He was a little bit crazy, not necessarily in a bad way, but he was cheap. He had a job, so he just chose to live out here because he was too cheap to pay rent. This is the remnants of his campsite. A lot of trash. Actually, honestly, I thought it would look a little bit worse, but this is still bad. So I remember this. I helped him carry this out here. This he got from Aldi's dumpster. I was with him when he got this. Right here was actually a structure that, like a nice like hut structure that was built with tarps on it to protect against the weather and wind and snow. And it actually looked really cool. I don't have any pictures of it. I wish I did, but you can see all the trash is still here. I heard he moved away and went back out of state, moved out of state, so I hope he's doing well, and I wish him the best because I had a lot of good times out here with him. And so this is where I first stayed with him until I went with those other people across the water, and then the other spot, which you'll see next, and then I ended up moving back here. So that's his mattress that he had in his tent. I don't see his tent, but all his tarps are still here. This is crazy. So this here used to be the main pathway that used to take in and out of here. So now we're going into this was my favorite campsite down here. This was the path that I made. I cleared this out. People have since used it after I was out here, which I guess I'm glad that other people were able to use it. But this is how I came in and out of this campsite. This was a really sweet spot. I really enjoyed this particular spot a lot. It was really awesome, and I had it nice and windy, so it was hard for people to follow. Obviously you can see the trail, so there's not, you know, but it's really sweet. And right here in little swampy area right here, but it was good. It never flooded up over this, so no matter how much rain we got, it was primo. And these pines are a perfect cover to protect my campsite view from the main path. That's not mine, but this is how I made my campsite completely hidden. And like I said, still to this day, this was my favorite spot, and I would love to, you know, it sucks that I can't come back here anymore because it's now private property. So these are all here from that milk crate was mine. I had just a bunch of miscellaneous tools and stuff in that. Looks like other people used it or whatever, but this is what's left of my old campsite. And I did the same thing that Pete did over there at the first site I showed you. I kind of built, well, roll the pictures. Here you see my campsite, all fresh, looking good, until winter came. This is how I stayed warm inside my tent. This was my heater. I lit fire, a can inside a can. Someone showed me that, and I watched YouTube videos about it. So that's essentially what I did, and then it ended up burning a hole in through the carpet that you see there. So I kind of stopped doing that so much toward the end, and I kind of didn't need it. So this is the first snowfall. Wasn't much, but you can see how I had it set up for how I tried to winterize my campsite. I tried to put a tarp over my canopy there. Little did I know the snow was going to completely collapse it. And but hey, I thought it was the best chance of protecting my tent at the time, and we live and we learn. So yeah, this is what it looked like, and this is after the first big snowstorm hit. I think this was maybe January or February or something, I don't know, but you can see the canopy is gone. It crushed part of my tent, and my campsite doesn't look so good now. Then finally, when spring came and the snow cleared up, I finally got a new tent. So this is my tent, and there we go. But right here is where my big blue tent was. Once the snow cleared, I was able to get rid of my old tent, and I replaced it with that new 12-person blue tent you saw in those pictures. And that's actually my old tent right there. I had a little tent that I ended up using for storage, but it was too small to stay in. And anyways, so I had from this tree to this tree. So this was right here. I had like a back door, a little private area, and I was able to come out back this way, and I could sneak out around the path that way if I didn't want Pete or anyone on that side of the path to see me leaving for whatever reason or whatnot. And this is where I called home, and honestly, this was a really great spot. I mean, now that I'm back, it's like my brain is firing in a good way. Like, I really wish that there was something that I could do to do something with the spot again. But technically I'm not supposed to be here, but I just wanted to show you guys for this video and come back here for what could be the last time ever. So there's my old canopy that I originally had over my tent before the snow came, and then, well, you saw the pictures of it collapsed, and that's what ended up with that. So yeah, there are a few of my things that stayed here, but you know, all the big the trash that I was able to, you know, the trash I was able to bring out if I wasn't able to burn it. So only some of the big stuff of mine stayed here. But aside from that, guys, that's so now I'll have to show you guys from across the river. After I moved out of here, when I started having my health problems. It was too far for me to come all the way back this way. So then, this is the spot that I'm about to show you. Was my last camping spot before I found housing. Now I'm standing across the river from my last campsite that I was at, which was right over here. Roll these pictures. Now this is campsite number 3. I had to move down by the water. Well, I had to move closer in to the beginning of the pathway because my health problems were getting worse, and it was getting really difficult for me to go that far in every day all the time. So I moved to this beautiful spot by the water here. You can see the river in the background behind the campfire. The only thing is with this campfire is it started a ground fire, so that campfire was not something that I was able to keep doing after this. So the hole just kept getting bigger and bigger every time I had a fire, so that wasn't good. So this is from across, looking out from my campsite, a better shot of the river. So right in the weeds right there across the street, across the river. This is the Eschweiler River, by the way. And I used to see blue herons come and go all the time. They used to hang out there in those tall reeds or whatever you want to call them. And, you know, they sound like dinosaurs when they take off, like pterodactyls. And they don't land so gracefully either. It's a lot of crash, bang, snap, a lot of that. So they're not the most graceful, but they're certainly awesome to watch. So this is my campsite from across that river. So there's my friend Sean there, and that's his tent there. You can see my tent, the blue one, off to the right there. And here is another picture of my tent there. So this was the last campsite. Someone else is camping right here. Thank you guys all so much for watching until the end. It really means a lot to me. I know this probably wasn't the most exciting video, but for me it's very personal, and I really been wanting to come back here just to see what things look like now. And now that I know that people aren't back here anymore, I feel a lot better about coming out here and not running into questionable people. And however, I may see if I can contact the city, or the city doesn't own it, it's private land, whoever the owners are now, and try to get permission. I want to come back here in the springtime or summer next year, come out here with trash bags. We'll clean up a lot of this trash out because it needs to go. And you know, down by the last site, unfortunately I couldn't get down there to show you guys, but there is this huge mound of trash. It was like, it's as tall as me. It's crazy, and it's all from people that have been there since I was there. Not from me, but some people I know. That's how it started, and then it kind of just took off and kind of got out of hand. So I don't know if that's still there or not. I bet it probably is. I hope not, but either way, respect the land, respect nature, don't litter. And if you're homeless and you have to camp somewhere, please be respectful. Carry out what you carry in, and don't leave a trace that you were there. So with that being said, I will see you guys on the next adventure. Peace.